junior from Saginaw, Michigan, Robert Chapman. For Kentucky, number 4 at guard at 6'3", a sophomore from Peru, Indiana, Kyle Macy. For Michigan State, number 11 at guard at 6'2", a sophomore from St. Louis, Missouri, Terry Donnelly. For Kentucky, number 22 at guard at 6'1", a junior from Toledo, Ohio, Truman Slater. And the coach of the Michigan State Spartans, Just Heathcote. And the coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, Joe B. Hall. Your officials for today's game. The referee
Started today's action between Michigan State and Kentucky is just a moment away. We'll be back for the opening tip-off.
A poem about deodorants. Roll, roll.
Bishop is the referee from the Metro 7 Conference. Roy Clymer, the umpire of the Big 8 Conference. Michigan State in green or the dark suits. Kentucky in white. Jumping will be Roby, 53 of Kentucky, against Greg Kelser, 32 of Michigan State. Checking the ball.
Kurt Kelser is not the center, but you can tell what kind of leaping ability he has, the fact that they put him in there to jump even though his natural position is forward.
He's the top rebounder. Kelser, let's start over.
They're ready.
They're over ready. Up they go. Roby controls it, tip to Kyle Macy. That's Truman Clater, a good outside shot. Macy is the playmaker of this team, the penetrator, and he gets the ball inside. And they're going against the zone. 2-1-2 zone right now. That's Macy. It's Jack Gibbons, the best all-around player in the Kentucky squad. Moving the ball against the zone. Now they're setting up. They want a different setup.
Kurt, this zone for Michigan State's very interesting. It's a 2-1-2, but it's a real matchup on the back side, so that these fellows are actually playing man-to-man on the ball.
Here's Macy, first shot of the game, and he's got it. Kyle Macy puts Kentucky out in front 2-0.
And we'll see an awful lot of that cross-court passing against that zone.
This is Bob Chapman. He had a big night here Thursday. He's a good outside shooter.
And you see it's Gibbons on Johnson.
Jack Gibbons is covering Johnson. Johnson's playing inside right now. He was outside most of the season. He'll go in the corner on a high post and play outside. Terry Donnelly. This is Irvin Johnson, Mr. Magic. Now they're going against a man-to-man. Macy's coming, they're pinching him out in front. That's Bob Chapman. Truman Slater on him. Chapman trying to shake and go. He rubbed off a screen by Johnson. A rebound by Mike Phillips. Here comes Kentucky. Down they set up. They're ahead 2-0. Mike Phillips out on a high post. Now they go under their setup against the 2-1-2 zone. Kyle Macy moves it over to Gibbons. This is Slater. Roby, a short one. Phillips has a rebound. Loses the ball. Taken away from him. Fast break to Donnelly. 3-on-1. Donnelly stuffed in by Gene Kelser. Kelser, who's a power dunker, 2-all.
Excellent play right there. That's what Michigan State had to do. Gregory Kelser can really get up in the air and take off on the break. Kentucky being very patient with their offense, which is a good move.
Gibbons hits it 4-2. Jack Gibbons, the leading scorer of the Kentucky squad. Back comes Bob Chapman against the man-to-man.
Kurt, I'm very surprised that Irvin Johnson's not handling the ball more. Normally he comes out and plays guard position.
Kentucky steals. Roby up with it. Kyle Macy feeds Phillips. Mike Phillips up with a short jumper. 6-2 Kentucky. Michigan State back. They're a young club. They're going against a veteran starting unit of Kentucky. And this is tournament pressure. There's a foul call on Mike Phillips fouling Jay Vincent. Judd Heathcote. They have signs. They have certain signals they send out for defensive, offensive setup.
I think Joe Hall has to be a little disappointed with that when Jay Vincent goes that far away from the basket. Mike Phillips has no need to go out there and cover him, although Vincent's a good player.
That shot is hit, and there's a foul call on the play.
Gibbons following. That time you see what Irvin Johnson can do. He's taking the ball outside now and going to try to penetrate. Gibbons a little bit more powerful than Johnson, and I think it's an excellent move by Joe Hall to put a bigger man on Johnson. You can't handle him with a guard.
No basket. Fouls on Gibbons. 2 team fouls on Kentucky. None on Michigan State. Chapman to Kelser. Kelser. Woo! Did he get up there? Dean Kelser, just a junior. He'll be back next year. Bobby Knight calls him the best player in the Big Ten. Look at that.
Gregory Kelser really came off that time. A good solid screen on a set play. Excellent camera coverage from way up in the rafters. Shows what a dunk feels like.
That's the rafter. All right, Kelser has put him within 2. Now they're going to a press, a 3-quarter press. Jack Gibbons up and in and out for him. Greg Kelser has the rebound. Here comes Irvin Johnson, the fabulous freshman.
See that ball control.
Outstanding peripheral vision. The wheel by Vincent. Kelser missed the tap. Coming back is Roby with a rebound to Kyle Macy. Later, Gibbons out to Macy again. They move it against the zone. They have Mike Phillips inside. Here's the corner shot by Slater. Off the rim. Up on the rebound again. Greg Kelser. Here's Vincent with a drive. He's up and he hits it. Good play in Western. Jay Vincent ties the game.
Good play and no charge. Here comes the full court pressure by Michigan State. They're trying to change their defense, force Kentucky out of that power game down in tight. Excellent move.
4 minutes gone. The first half. It's tied. 6-all. Gibbons goes. And there's a rebound again. Pulled out. And a jump ball call. And the Michigan State bench doesn't like that one. They thought it was called too quickly.
Well, it might have been, but a good job by Mike Phillips. And, you know, Jack Gibbons has a very soft touch in around 10 feet, but in the last couple of ball games that we've seen him, they've not been dropping.
Phillips controlled the tap. Macy moves it to Roby.
There you see
Mike
that
Phillips
matchup.
out on a high pivot.
You notice they match up. They play the ball. The other guard goes and finds somebody, and then the big men in the back rotate to find people that they can cover in their area. So it's a very unusual zone defense we're seeing.
Game tied 6-all. Early minutes. Southeast champs against the Big Ten champs. Now Macy. Roby looking into Phillips. 2 big men there, 6'10", Roby and Phillips. There's a pass inside. Gibbons hits it. Jack Gibbons. That was a twisting banker.
One of the keys, if you have a veteran club, as Kentucky has, and Michigan State plays his zone as well as anybody, is to be patient, which you're seeing them do right now, and mark of a real good ball club.
Harry Donnelly doesn't shoot much. She's more of a playmaker. Kelser moves it to Irvin Johnson. Now Johnson's out in front. Watch him. There he goes with the drive. Bad shot. Off the board. Jack Gibbons. Truman Claytor has it. Inside goes Roby. And a foul call on Michigan State.
For a 6'10" man, he has an explosive first step. Gets down the court real well. We saw that great play made the other day when he broke on the fast break. Beat guards down the floor.
That foul was on Bob Chapman. First team foul, Michigan State. We'll be back here in Dayton, Ohio. The score. It'll be interesting to hear, Ken. There's going to be an important announcement out of Mexico City that we'll be telling you more about concerning the heavyweight situation. Jack Gibbons. As Roby loses the ball out, but is slapped out by Terry Donnelly of Michigan State.
Oh, excellent quick hands in there, too, by Johnson. Now, you watch how they're matching up again. They play in the zone on an out-of-bounds situation. Look for the lob possibility.
Kentucky has out-rebounded Michigan State 5-2. Slater, don't give him any opening. He's a streak shooter when he gets hot. Tremendous.
Sure like this defense that Michigan State plays. You've got to be smart ball club to handle this.
They have him jammed underneath. And Roby in the lane. 3-second violation. They're in the lane. 3-second violation. Michigan State's ball. Rick Roby. That's Joe Hall. 6th year with the glasses. The Kentucky coach. Won the Southeast Conference title 4 of those 6 years. Here's Donnelly moving it into Michigan State's forecourt. Kelser fires. Phillips cleared the rebound. Intercepted by Irvin Johnson. He picked it off at midcourt.
Not a good outlet pass by Mike Phillips, but Johnson's really alert. He walks.
Johnson walked. He looks to the bench. I'll be all right. You know, he's only 18 years old.
He's a super kid. I watched him yesterday in practice, and he just has such unbelievable court sense for a kid his age. It's just hard to believe.
He's the only freshman to ever make the All-Big Ten team, honor team. Later out in front, Kentucky ahead, 8-6. Macy, Plater. Remember, Kentucky has a powerhouse man coming off that bench, their sixth man. Shot blocked by Kelser, and up and in with it is Roby. His first basket, Rick Roby scores. Kentucky's lead, 10-6.
One of the big keys when you play Kentucky is to stop that second shot. And with all the big, powerful people they have, that's very difficult to do. Kelser doing a great job on the board so far.
Johnson with a hooker, way off the mark. And the follow shot is good by Greg Kelser. Kelser has 6 points. That's Judd Heathcote, Michigan State coach in his second year. He'll be there a long years to come, the way he's going. Gibbons fires off the rim, followed by Macy. Macy feeds it. Roby hits it. 12-8. Kentucky again getting the second shot.
Second shot's very difficult. I know that Judd feels that playing the zone is his only chance, but of course in the zone you have some tough blockout responsibilities. 2 times it hurt him.
In under wide open is Jay Vincent. The feed came from Greg Kelser.
Great
Judd
pass.
liked that one. 12-10 Kentucky. Michigan State hangs right with them. Kentucky about a 5 or 6 point favorite in this game. Macy. James Lee's coming on. He may be the best sixth man in America on a college squad. He'll be checking in here shortly. Now they set it up against that zone with a high post. Mike Phillips. Roby. Here it is to Macy. Plater. Phillips. Phillips shot. Can't do much about that.
Tough shot. He turned back to the opposite side that time to make that one. Phillips has been off to a strong start.
14-10 Kentucky. Bob Chapman. Later stopped him cold.
Chapman operates better at a forward spot down there against a guy like Plater. Now you see him trying to take him inside.
That's a good one. On a drive, and he was closely guarded by Truman Plater.
McCurt, he's so powerful inside. It's a good move to go ahead and swap positions as they're doing now. Johnson coming outside and Chapman moving to the forward spot.
There's a steal.
Look at that dunk.
Look at this. Kelser.
Oh!
Slams it home.
He's all right.
Rick Kelser's all right.
Basket counts and a foul. That's
Irvin
great
Johnson
play.
comes over to him. Let's watch this steal on the replay.
This guy's all second team Big Ten, and he is a super basketball player. Only a junior. Look at him go in there. Gets cut from underneath. I'm not so sure they shouldn't give him 2 shots on that one, even though he made the field goal. They're only going to give 1, though.
Fouls on Truman Plater. 3rd team foul on Kentucky. Michigan State has only 1 foul. And that is 9 points for Greg Kelser.
You know, Kurt, over his career, he has only shot a little over 60% from the free throw line. I don't know why. He has a good-looking touch, but he's been under 60% this year.
Well, he shoots 61% from the field. Timeout now by Kentucky. Michigan State has grabbed the lead. They've been a hustling club. They've stolen the ball 3 or 4 times. Passage furnished by the NCAA. They were scalping tickets outside, or trying to, for $100 here in Dayton. Thousands more could be sold in St. Louis for the finals, and it'll be sold out for Salt Lake. Better get those tickets.
Going to be a pretty good matchup now with James Lee in the game. Joe Hall probably figured he needs more quickness on Kelser, so it'll probably be Lee on Kelser and Gibbons to stay with Irvin Johnson.
Lee is number 32. He's playing the far sideline on the wing. Michigan State still in that hustling 2-1-2 zone. Notice they're sliding well. They're very aggressive. They're working hard in that zone. A shot way out by Plater. Rolls around. Michigan State at inside position. The foul on James Lee. Fouling on the rebound. Climbing up in the back of a Michigan State player.
Has excellent blocking out on the inside that time. Bobo Charles in the ball game now for Michigan State, so they've gone to a bigger lineup just at the same time, and Kentucky goes to a smaller one. Let's check the matchup. It's going to be Macy on Johnson. Johnson will try to penetrate. There he goes.
Johnson up. The shot flat. Doesn't appear to have a good touch outside, but he's an excellent free throw shooter. His strength is feeding, setting up plays.
I'm surprised that he hasn't been able to get more passes off, and I think he's going to be able to shoot over Macy.
That's the foul. Gibbons fouled underneath. Ron Charles is in the game, number 15. That foul's on Greg Kelser. Remember, tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time, preceding our big NCAA doubleheader, you're going to see Armed Services Boxing from Camp Lejeune. 1 o'clock tomorrow with my football broadcasting buddy John Brody and Ken Norton. From the rafters, an NBC camera. We have him strapped up, girdled.
Just hanging. Good shots by Gibbons.
Gibbons hits them both, and Kentucky's back out in front, 16-15. 6 points for Jack Gibbons. 10:30 to go in the first half.
I look for Johnson to really try to take over the next couple of minutes, both passing and penetrating, because he's got Macy on him.
That shot is good by Jay Vincent outside, the freshman. He played at Lansing Eastern High School. Johnson played at Lansing Everett.
And they battle against each other all 3 years in high school, and Johnson's club always coming out to the victory. Now they're teammates.
Now they're roommates too, Billy.
Right.
Later, Kyle Macy.
Zone is tough, isn't it? Look at how well they match up on the back line.
Duckett always looking inside, trying to get that ball in there, but they're not having much luck.
I think what Kentucky's going to have to do is to get the ball inside and throw to the opposite side of the court, because the ball is being well played right now by Michigan State. Just throw it across the court. Oh,
threw it away over the head of Rick Roby. That's a turnover charge to Kentucky. Michigan State's hustling zone defense forced it. Coming up next, Arkansas and that Cinderella club, Cal State of Fullerton, who scored 2 major upsets in a row. Keep going, there won't be upsets anymore. Chapman trying to drive down the lane, and a foul is called on Chapman.
Interesting call, but I'll tell you what is, Chapman can't believe it. Look at him looking around saying, you got to be kidding. I've got to shoot the foul shot. But the key there is the fact that Michigan State has really opened up the middle, Kurt, and they're getting a lot of easy penetration. Kentucky's going to have to shut that down, or Michigan State should be able to make a run here.
Second foul on Chapman, 3rd team foul Michigan State, 4 on Kentucky. 9:22 to go in the half. 17-16, Michigan State leading. Shot by Gibbons. Battle for the rebound. Off the board with the ball is Greg Kelser. Irvin Johnson. Johnson, watch him move that ball around. Stole it by Gibbons very alertly. 3-on-3. Macy fires. He hits it. 18-17. Kentucky out in front. Kyle Macy from Peru, Indiana. Started his career at Purdue. Transferred to Kentucky, set out a year. Has been an important cog in this team. This foul is on Truman Slater.
Charles is quite a bit, we see Charles in a ball game now, has really changed things around. Now with Chapman going out of the game, they're back to the fact that Bobo Charles will have to move back in the outside. Irvin Johnson still playing the guard situation.
5 fouls on Kentucky, 3 on Michigan State. 18-17, Kentucky leading.
Good call.
That one is called
on Macy.
Kyle Macy.
What's happening is Irvin Johnson, we talked about his court presence. He now feels that he can take Macy inside. We're going to see the situation. Macy's trying to hang on to him. You can see Macy's got him, and real good pinning move by Johnson.
Left-hander missed by Kelser. Look at him jackknife up, hangs up there. Board cleared by Kyle Macy. Kentucky with the ball. They're in front by 1.
I believe if they score here, you'll see the 1-3-1 half-court defense by Kentucky, because the man-to-man's not really preventing Michigan State from getting good shots.
Now they bring them out. They're trying to spread this zone out. They're not having much luck, Billy.
Right, they went to their 1-4. You're going to see them throw the ball across court for it.
This is one of the oldest attacks against the zone in the business, the 1-4. Lee saved it. James Lee, 220 pounds. 6'5", you can see the zone. Now watch them attack it. They'll spread out. Right now they're out in front. They try and get a man out in front, spread 4 men out along the way. Here's a near intercept. Johnson does it.
Oh, what a play.
Stepped on the line, they say. Irvin Johnson stepped on the sideline.
What's so difficult is Johnson very active in the back line of the zone, and that time he came all the way from the back line on the left-hand side of the court out to intercept that ball. Macy did the only thing you should do is shield the man so that he had to let the ball go out of bounds.
How many 6'8" players could play baseline on defense and out in front on offense?
That's what makes him so unique, and I'm sure the fans at home are saying, well, you're trying to build this guy up. He hasn't done anything yet, but his court presence is the real key. Great pass. Good pass, feed in.
8 points for Jack Givens. He's the high for Kentucky. Now Kentucky's lead is 3, 20-17. Vincent, turnaround jumper, feeds inside and gets it in there. A great pass into Ron Charles by Jay Vincent, the freshman. And the score is 20-19. Kentucky in the lead.
If there's any phase of the game Michigan State does as well as any team I've seen this year is everybody in the club can pass the ball well and catch the ball well, and I think that's why they get so many of those easy shots.
We have 6:50 to go in this half. A 1-point lead for the Wildcats. #1 ranked team in the country coming into the NCAA postseason tournament. They won 27 out of 29. They lost to Alabama by 4 and to LSU by 1. Their only 2 losses all year.
Kentucky trying to dissect the zone a little bit. They've gone to every set they've had. They're trying to get the box. They're trying to get a 4-corner over there. They went with their 1-4. Good patient team right here, trying to figure out what'll work against the zone. And compliment the zone, Kurt. They really play it well, don't they?
They really do. They've had the ball over a minute now, Kentucky, without getting a shot. They want. They're trying to get good shot selection. They're still moving it. Around the wheel she goes.
Right, and whoever has the ball always has a man on him. That's the key.
That's real work in the zone. It doesn't look like much work, but it is. They've had it a minute and a half. They want a shot. They're not trying to just hold the ball. They want to get the shot, but they can't get the one they want. Macy. Now Clater looks it over again. Roby's floating the baseline inside. They're trying to get it into him, but they're not having much luck.
Well, the great coach that we had last week at Rhode Island, Jack Kraft, he invented a ball defense at Villanova that had a lot of the same principles that we're seeing out here now. Very frustrating, but Kentucky's doing the smart thing.
That foul's on Donnelly. Terry Donnelly, number 11. 4th team foul on Michigan State. Kentucky has 6. The next foul on Kentucky will put Michigan State into the bonus situation. Timeout. And we have a tight one here in the Mideast Regional Final. April 2nd, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Dinah Shore will be the hostess along with Jim Simpson and Arnold Palmer. And for the first time, NBC's core commentators, all female. See you later, Billy. Givens leads Kentucky with 8 points. Kelser leads Michigan State with 9. This is Kurt Gowdy, Billy Packer, Dayton, Ohio. Mideast Regional Finals. After this game, we'll be switching to Albuquerque for the finals of the West. Arkansas, Cal State Fullerton with Dick Enberg and Al McGuire.
You know, Kurt, watching this zone, and I'm sure Joe Hall's mind is wheeling too. I don't understand why Kentucky doesn't put somebody right in the center of the foul line and try to split the 2 guards a little bit. They're not having any luck at all getting the ball right down inside otherwise.
I am marveling, and you should be too. Good defense means sliding, means down low and moving. Watch Michigan State slide now. Their knees bent quickly. Look at them, the way they're moving. That's work. That you really have to work in that zone. The shot by Clater, way short. Rebounded by Kelser. Rick Kelser cleared the board. And now Michigan State comes down with a chance to take the lead.
I'm sure that Joe Hall wanted that lead up to 3 points and in a situation where he could change his defense a little bit. Good penetration.
That ball is stolen by James Leon, the pass by Johnson. And the shot is no good, and a foul is being called on Rick Roby. Rick Roby called for the foul.
Good defense on the inside. Protect the baseline. Now there's the case. Now Kelser did a good job coming over protecting the baseline. Had Rick probably tried to go baseline a little further, he'd have got by with that, but excellent defense there. 2 well-coached basketball teams.
No shot, player control foul. Mike Phillips is back in. Roby's gone out for Kentucky. Johnson, great feed. Greg Kelser. Now that's an Irvin Johnson pass.
It certainly is, and whenever he has a feed, he raises his hand for 2 points. He gets more kick out of the assist than he does the score.
Michigan State has the lead, 21-20. 3:54 in the first half. Givens loses the ball. Back up with it again. Hangs in there and hits the shot. Jack Goose Givens makes it 22-21. He has scored 10 points, and he really hung in there.
He did, and a good defensive play by Terry Donnelly shows that he's got some leaping ability. There goes Johnson.
Irvin Johnson took Macy right down the lane. Johnson has 4 inches on him, and he stuffed it to make it 23-22.
With a small lineup in the game right now, really Johnson has a real advantage over Macy. Just too big for him when he penetrates inside.
The zone. Kentucky's not getting the ball inside. They're not getting the perimeter shots they want. Look at him slide. Donnelly hustling across to Jake Plater.
What's even more interesting to me about the Michigan State zone is the fact that it's such a young team. Normally just a veteran club could learn the slides and the movement in this kind of defense.
That was a gambling pass. That foul's on Jack Givens for crashing in the lane.
And
that was a gambling pass, too.
It sure was, and Irvin Johnson slid right over and drew the charge. Givens can't believe it, but once again, you've got to marvel at this defense.
Billy Packer, as you know, will be picking a player to receive the Gillette Most Valuable Player of the Game Scholarship Award. Let's don't have a war over it like we did at McGuire myself. All right, here he is, Mr. Magic, Irvin Johnson. He's an excellent free throw shooter. He hits on his free throws 79%, makes 48% from the field. Averaged 17.6 in his freshman year. First in the Big Ten in assists. He hits them both, and Michigan State's leading 25-22. 4 points for Irvin Johnson. Now Lee comes out in front. Time remaining, 2:50 in the first half.
Kentucky is really disturbed right now in the fact that they can't find any particular offensive set to get a good shot off.
There's a long one fired by Plater. Terry Donnelly snags the rebound, and now Irvin Johnson. Pass stolen by Mike Phillips. He was alert back there. Lee trying to fast break against the zone. Fast break is a great weapon against the zone. Macy down. They won't go for him. Off the board with the ball. Jay Vincent and Mike Phillips, a jump ball at the Kentucky free throw line. 2:21 to go in the half. Michigan State right now with a 3-point lead.
Kurt, that's an excellent point you meant. As one of the key things to try to do against the zone is to beat it back down court. But you can see that Michigan State works on that very well, and they don't allow that transition. Hey, you can't win the Big Ten, as tough a league as this is, with a rookie ball club that's not well coached and well organized. So this is a strong basketball team.
Bob Chapman's back in. Ron Charles left the lineup for Michigan State. Kentucky's ball. Little over 2 minutes to go in the half. Kentucky, #1 team in America in the rankings, trailing by 3. Phillips on the pivot. That's a foul call on number 33, Irvin Johnson. That'll be team foul number 5, the first foul on Johnson.
It's been a real key also. They're not in foul trouble, and Kentucky not yet in the 1-on-1 situation. And even had Phillips gotten that ball that time, you had Johnson on one side and Vincent on the other, so he wouldn't have room to maneuver.
They have trouble even getting a ball in against that zone. Later out in front now. 2 minutes to go in the half.
Now there's the move I thought they'd go to, putting Mike Phillips in the center.
And that was a wide pass. Lee was wide open there at the baseline, and they threw it wide to him. He had to step on the baseline to save it.
And if you put a man right in the center there, Vincent's going to have to come up and take him. Going to open up some holes in that zone.
Now Givens has gone back on Irvin Johnson. That's the way they started the matchup in the game. That pass, they're trying to lob it down the lane, and Kentucky's clogging the lane and has picked off 4 or 5. Macy to Phillips. Phillips loses the ball to Donnelly. Donnelly down court. He's fouled by Macy. Now that's a tough call. Did the defensive man already have his position, or didn't he?
I think that Kyle Macy was in good shape until he reached in. He had excellent position with his feet. Donnelly did a good job staying under control. Phillips had one of those premeditated moves on the inside, Kurt, and that gets you in trouble. He decided to pull through. The zone closed up, and he had nothing to do.
Harry Donnelly, a sophomore from St. Louis. All academic Big Ten. Now shot for him. Michigan State leading 26-22. Donnelly's averaged 6 points a game this year. Hits 78% free throws. It is now 27-22. Michigan State right now is upsetting Kentucky.
This is a move I kind of anticipated coming in with Scheidler, who's known for his outside shooting. Kentucky's got to get some perimeter shooting going.
Scheidler's 25. Scheidler has it back again. They're trying to get all the outside shooting they can in now. Givens, Macy, and Scheidler. Slater are their best. There's Scheidler, way out. He's short. Up with the rebound. Chapman down to Donnelly. 2-on-1. Donnelly goes, and he travels with the ball. He ran with it.
He didn't anticipate Gregory Kelser filling that lane that quickly, and when he saw him, I think it distracted him a little bit. Scheidler is going to have to make some of those shots. You know, you come into the ball game knowing you're supposed to make some outside shots, puts a lot of pressure on.
We have just heard from Mexico City that Spinks has been stripped of his world heavyweight crown, and the crown has been awarded to Ken Norton.
There's a man about
James
Ken Norton's
Lee.
size, and that was James Lee. He was trying to fight on through that time. He's just so powerful, he knocked everybody out of the way.
The pros are eyeing him because of his strength, his jumping ability, and his quickness. We have 45 seconds to go in the half. Johnson leading off. Will they take the last shot of the half? Let's see. Here's a freshman running the ball club out in front. They're down to 35 seconds. And that foul.
Looks on Donnelly, an offensive foul on the inside,
That's
trying to set a screen. Well, it was not a smart play on his part because they were going to go for the last shot. Judd Heathcote really upset with that one. It was a good call by the official, not a smart play by Donnelly. About the only non-intelligent move they've made all half.
Michigan State now has 16 fouls. Kentucky's already over the limit of 6.
Oh, look at that recovery that time. Excellent play.
Kelsey came out and nearly stole that cross-court pass and then quickly slid back to the baseline to show you how quick they're moving on defense. They'll try and get down to about 6 seconds, Bill.
Two super low wingmen in the part of Johnson and Kelser. They can really cover some ground.
He was forced on that shot. That's the end of the half. And an amazing Michigan State zone defense that is hustling his heart out, sliding, moving on every pass, is forcing Kentucky away from the inside and making them hurry on their perimeter shots. And that's the story of their first half, is Michigan State zone defense. So, at the half, the Big Ten champs, Michigan State, 27, and the Southeastern Conference champs, Kentucky, 22.
Try and forget the 10th largest life insurance.
Hill Hall. They've had a pad over there diagramming the last 2 or 3 minutes.
It's not an emotional sales pitch over there. This is a X's and O's talk that they're giving right now because they have not found the key for their offense. Super first half by Michigan State, and consider the fact that Magic Johnson has not had a great game so far.
Kentucky, 54% average for the season field goal, 40% in this game. You see Michigan State's hit nearly 58% of their field goal attempts. Perfect free throw shooting, both teams.
Kurt, watch Rick Roby. Always jumps with the opposite hand so that he goes up and uses his body. An interesting approach. There he goes, but didn't get the tap.
It's over to Chapman on the play. Chapman goes in and hits the layup. They had a play off the center jump, and they now have a 7-point lead. Chapman has 4 points. Everything's working for Michigan State.
You execute, it works.
They get it inside that time to Mike Phillips. 29-24. 6 points for Mike Phillips. Michigan State out in front. Kentucky still in their man-to-man. That's Slater on Chapman. Gibbons on Urban Johnson. The pass to Kelser.
Oh,
what a feed into Kelser. What a leaping shot by Greg Kelser.
And an excellent pass by Johnson. And you've got to remember, Roby's really mad at himself. Good defensive player to have that happen to him.
Kyle Macy. Slater, Macy. There's a shot outside by Truman. Slater is short with it. Johnson has the ball. They're fast breaking. They have a 3-on-1. and it is out of bounds off Chapman's hand. Rolled into Macy's hands and went off Chapman.
We'll see the interesting play right here. Now, it's a set play, a rub-off right there. There goes the lob pass to the weak side. Roby was there, but a great catch and play by Kelser.
Kurt Gowdy, Billy Packer, Dayton, Ohio, the finals of the Mideast Regional Tournament. Scheidler's in the game now. Jay Scheidler. Scheidler to Gibbons. Gibbons loses the ball off to Irvin Johnson. Magic, the freshman, 18 years old.
He pulls it up. I'm under control, fellas. We'll play now.
I'm only 18. I'll run the ball club. And he does. Donnelly. Jay Vincent, the other freshman. Uh-oh. Back in is stolen. Roby. Roby goes. Roby hits it.
That's a great pass back and forth. The 2-on-1 fast break. Perfectly executed.
I look for Kentucky to fast break for. They're going to have to.
They're going into a zone of their own, a 1-3-1 zone. Really surprised. If I'm Michigan State, I'd pull it out now and make them go back to man-to-man because they were handling that man-to-man. Let's see.
Donnelly and Vincent keep getting messed up over in the sideline and catching a pass. That's what caused the last turnover, and they've nearly had another one. 1-2-2 they flash out on the sign.
Right.
With Johnson out in front, 2 men on the baseline, low double post, and 2 wingmen, a 1-2-2. There's one of the wingmen, Chapman. Short. Kelsen up.
Now here's going to be a problem for Kentucky, but there was a case of good blocking out by Jay Scheidler. He had excellent position. He's the baseline runner in the 1-3-1. He's going to be overmatched by Kelser, but he was in position that time.
First team foul of the half, second foul on Kelser. Scheidler.
And you see where Kentucky's put Roby right in the center. He's going to occupy space and time.
Another foul call on Michigan State. I think Michigan State wants time. That one is on Irvin Johnson. That's the second on Johnson. And the second team foul in a row for Michigan State. So the Spartans want to talk it over. And while they do, we'll tell you the score. Michigan against Villanova from Providence and Notre Dame DePaul from Lawrence, Kansas. 5-point lead, Michigan State, Kentucky's ball.
You can see where Roby's stationed himself now. He's going to set some screens, and it'll be easier to get him the ball from that position.
Long one by Macy. Short. Up on the follow. Jack Gibbons, 31-28. 12 points for Gibbons.
And Kurt, what that does when you play a man on a high post against that zone, it brings Vincent up to the point where he's no longer the rebound man, and the 2 wingmen can come in and get better rebounding position for Kentucky.
They have Macy out crowding as a point man. And now Roby comes out. They're in a 1-3-1, but Macy's coming out and pinching the front man.
Well, here you have that good timeout call that time by Judd Heathcote. Now, he wanted his club to say, hey, let's go back and play them man-to-man. I think this is an excellent move by Michigan State. They don't want a fast-tempo game anyway.
Kelser, Johnson whips it to Vincent. Vincent blew the layup, and a foul.
Big call on Roby there because Kentucky was off and running.
The foul is on Jack Gibbons. That's his third, and that's the first team foul of the half. 2 on Michigan State, 1 on Kentucky. Judd Heathcote, 5 years at Montana, 14 years a high school coach. He earned his way into the head coaching rank. 5 years as an assistant under Harshman out at Washington State. James Lee coming in for Kentucky. Gibbons goes out. They get him out early in the second half with 3 fouls.
Kurt, you see how Michigan State spread everything out. If they do that and put Irvin Johnson on the foul line, he's too quick for Phillips if he can ever handle the ball there. Still a 1-3-1 zone by Kentucky, though. Cat and mouse.
Johnson at the foul line. Chapman.
I think Kentucky's going to have to come out of this defense and get back and playing them because the clock is really working against them here.
15:58 to go in this game. Michigan State ahead, 31-28. You notice Macy, number 4, Kyle Macy. His father coached him in high school at Peru, Indiana. He's out playing the front of that zone, the point of it, and he's moving around just trying to jam him up a little bit.
Joe Hall is going to have to decide how long he's going to want to stay in this situation. He's just 3 down. But Michigan State just soon have the game go this way. They're not going to get in foul trouble. And I look for Irvin Johnson to try to handle it. There he is coming out. But if he gets it on that post, look for him to wheel inside.
Donnelly, Vincent looking inside. Now Johnson says, pass it out. Give it to me. I'll take it. 2 men on him. He flips it out to Donnelly. Johnson has, for a freshman, for an 18-year-old player, has tremendous instinct on the court, what they call court sense. He knows what to do with the ball and knows what to do against the ball on defense. Just knows where he is at all times and where the other people are.
It's a real battle of wits right here. Michigan State being very poised for a young club, and Kentucky not going out trying to make a big open area.
Now they're trying to trap him out in front.
Good patience.
Now some of the Kentucky fans say, come on, play ball.
Well,
Roby goes out.
If I'm Michigan State, I tell them they play ball. Get back in a man-to-man.
This is Chapman, Bob Chapman. Averaged 19 last year, 12 this year, but had a better season this year, says his coach.
It'd be very difficult to try to steal, and Phillips has to constantly stay aware. There's Johnson.
He's up, and
he misses a big shot.
Missed the short one. Roby has the rebound. Kentucky's ball. Scheidler brings it down.
Oh, a battle of nerves
Kyle
out here.
Macy. Michigan State still in their 2-1-2 zone. James Lee. Kyle Macy. Scheidler pops one. It is good. 31-30.
Big shot, Kurt.
Jay Scheidler, who had a broken foot the second day of opening practice this year, but he's all right now, back in. And we should give him some long-range shooting in this game. That's what they're hoping for.
You know, Kurt, when you have guards that are supposed to shoot and they come into the game knowing that they've got to hit one or two, then they can get one of those big streaks. We saw Rick Wilson do that last night for Louisville and almost pull the game out.
Michigan State took the lead at 11:39 in the first half. That foul's on Scheidler. That was a dangerous pass, a high lob in there. Gave Scheidler time to get over there and nearly steal.
It is.
Tomorrow on Sports World, Armed Services Boxing, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Camp Lejeune. Ken Norton will be the expert commentator, who today has been named by the World Boxing people as the heavyweight champ. 31-30, Michigan State. They're the green or the team in the dark suits. Time remaining, 13 minutes, 23 seconds. The winner will meet the winner of the West in St. Louis next Saturday in the semifinals of the NCAA Championship. Bob Chapman up and in. Bob Chapman makes it 33-30. Michigan State, 6 points for Chapman, who looked like he could play fullback on Bo Schembechler's team. Macy up with a short one. He hits it 33-32, and now Kentucky's getting some outside shooting from Scheidler and Macy to help crack that zone.
Well, that heads up a new dimension if you can go ahead and make those outside shots. Kelser getting good position inside.
Vincent up. Jay Vincent, the freshman, scores. 35-32. A lot of fans, I imagine, in Lansing looking on. There are 2 boys here, both from Lansing. Timeout called by James Lee. Ray Vincent, Irvin Johnson, freshman on the Michigan State team from Lansing, Michigan. And now, with the timeout, we return you to our studios for this message.
Hello, everybody. This is Lowell Thomas. Alaska, tough on people, tough on auto parts. So we took Motorcraft heavy-duty batteries, oil filters, and tune-up parts to Alaska, testing them in 50 GM, Chrysler, and Ford cars and trucks. After 6 months of Alaskan pipeline country, less than 1% of the parts couldn't take the punishment. No matter what you drive, wherever you drive, ask for Motorcraft auto parts from Ford. Tested tough in Alaska. So long.
Lifting all that weight makes me feel just great. Now's the time I find. Got blue ribbon on my mind. I've got past blue ribbon on my mind. More and more lately I find I've got a taste for living. I'm thinking gold blue ribbon. I've got past blue ribbon on my mind.
Naturally good Pabst. A lot to look forward to.
Basketball coaches spend many hours on recruiting. The National Association of Basketball Coaches is vitally concerned that each athlete and his parents are fully informed as to what is permissible in recruiting and the type of financial aid which may be offered and accepted. For a free copy of a guide for the college-bound student athlete, write Recruiting, NCAA, Box 1906, Shawnee Mission, Kansas, the zip code 66222. Preceding message furnished by the NCAA. We have 12 minutes, 34 seconds left to play. 35-32, Michigan State, Kentucky's ball.
Two key timeouts called there.
That was blocked by Donnelly. They called a foul on Donnelly. Donnelly's unhappy with it.
He might be unhappy. I believe he came down and got him on the arm a little bit, although he did have a good piece of the ball initially. Those two timeouts that were called, one by Judd Heathcote and the other one, of course, by Joe Hall. Here's Joe Hall showing what he's working on right there against that offense that Michigan State's using right now. He's trying to go ahead and tell everybody to slough back off from the weak side, but his timeout, Kurt, was called to make sure that they got off a good shot, because with this kind of game we're seeing right here, every possession is such a key.
Kyle Macy, sophomore, missed his first one. He hit 90% of his free throws this year. He was a top free throw shooter in the Southeast Conference. There it is. That's a typical Kyle Macy free throw. That's the first missed free throw of the game. In the second half, Michigan State has shot 57%, Kentucky 70%. Very deliberate play on the part of both clubs. 35-33, favor of Michigan State. Their ball.
Still in the 1-3-1 zone. Roby coming out a lot higher now, trying to force a bad pass. Look for Kelser inside.
They threw it away that time. Ron Charles in the game, number 15, threw it away. Phillips picked it off and hands it over to Macy. Kentucky with a chance to tie. Scheidler. Here's Macy. They're trying to encourage them to shoot. They get it into Phillips. They sink on Phillips. And the foul is called, I believe, on Urban Johnson. That's who it is. Urban Johnson inside. 3 on Magic Johnson.
Well, he's never fouled out a ball game at a collegiate level. He sagged in there, and you could see Phillips had the ball. He had 3 men around him that time. Nothing he could do with it. Fortunately for him, there was a foul on Michigan State.
4 team fouls, Michigan State, 2 on Kentucky.
The walk.
Walked with the ball. Michigan State's ball. Scoring leaders, Michigan State, Kelser with 13, Vincent with 8, Kentucky, Gibbons with 12, Phillips with 6. Roby's been held to 6 in this game.
But I think the real key is going to be Kelser down there with Scheidler. Now, Michigan State can figure out a way to get the ball down to him inside. He really has an advantage. Maybe a lob pass.
Ron Charles. Here goes Johnson. Bob Chapman. Now Urban says set it up again. There's the sign. 1-3-1. There's an steal. Right back again. Chapman. That lob pass that goes into the lane is being picked off consistently now by Kentucky. They're going to have to be careful about trying to hit that low post.
Well, nobody is occupying Phillips to keep him honest up there, so he's been able to slough back inside. Now Vincent's doing a job now, keeping him occupied.
They took it away from him. Macy to Lee. Lee has the ball. Watch him dunk. Slams it through and ties it. 35 all. James Lee's first basket of the game.
Johnson a little upset with himself there. He didn't think Lee was going to go all the way, and when he hesitated, James Lee just took it in there and just crushed it.
Phillips goes out. Jack Gibbons is in. They double-teamed Johnson and snaked the ball away from him from behind. He let himself get double-teamed.
To be quite honest with you, he's not having the kind of ball game that his team needs right now. He's got to get back into the flow, be a little bit more aggressive offensively.
Kentucky has tied it up. Michigan State led by 5 at the half.
Every possession means so much right now. Key time in a ball game.
Each team having to work for their shots.
Good defense by Lee. Kentucky likes this 1-3-1 zone.
That foul's on Scheidler. Jay Scheidler, number 25. That's the second foul on Scheidler. And that'll be the third team foul on Kentucky. Michigan State has 4. Here is Truman Claytor coming in.
Scheidler did a good job in the back line because Kelser's a tough guy to handle in there. And the real key for Michigan State is the fact they have not been able to get the ball down the low post area.
Scheidler left the game. Michigan State's ball. Johnson plays it into Terry Donnelly. Look out.
That was a super catch right there because a normal human doesn't catch that ball.
Chapman fires. Short battle. Kelser has it. Kelser up. He hits it.
There it is.
Greg Kelser hits it to put it on 37-35. 15 points for Kelser, the high of the game.
No way Clater can handle him back there or Scheidler. Tough spot for him.
Macy feeding Clater.
Clater doesn't want the shot. Curdy's got to take the shot.
9:25 to go. Clater underneath to Gibbons. Gibbons trying to follow. Foul call on Johnson.
Heathcote is just absolutely bananas over there. Boy, he's had 4 tough calls on him, all just reaching in. That's his 4th.
That's 4 on Irvin Johnson.
He doesn't want to come out. He's not coming out.
Judd Heathcote, Michigan State coach. Watch the foul.
Well, we see it. He's had 4 toughies. Here we see the play going right up. Now we're going to see the battle for the rebound, and there's where the touch came in, and you can hardly see it on the play. Like I said, he's had 4 really touch calls.
Just over 9 minutes to play. There's Macy's shot, and it is no good. And this is the 6th team foul coming up on Michigan State. Macy will shoot 2. So any foul after this will put Kentucky in the 1-1.
And of course, on their side, they only have 3 team fouls since they've gone in the zone. That's helped them. Macy's starting to get a little bit more active now and penetrating.
Kyle Macy. 37-36. 3 fouls on Bob Chapman. 6 fouls on the Michigan State team. 3 on Kentucky. Kentucky in good shape. Foul trouble.
Good looking
Macy
form.
has tied it up. 37 all. Coming in now is Ron Charles. Irvin Johnson is going out. They want to save Johnson for the latter part of the game.
Now what you've got to think about if you're Kentucky to go ahead and press Michigan State, they normally would have Irvin Johnson in the ball game in this case. See if Joe Hall doesn't go out and try to press Donnelly a little bit.
This game has been tied 6 times.
Because Donnelly was a starter last year as a freshman. Maybe he can handle it, but he's going to see a lot of pressure from here on out.
37 all. Donnelly playing the point. Simpson and Chapman are the wingmen. Kelser and Charles are along the baseline. There it is to Kelser. Beautiful pass from Donnelly into him.
Excellent pass by Donnelly, and once again, you can see the fact that in the 1-3-1 zone, the Kentucky second guard can't handle Kelser underneath.
Kelser, the lead feeds Gibbons. Gibbons scores. And a foul call on Jay Vincent. The basket counts Kentucky a chance to go ahead on a 3-point play.
Excellent pass on the inside. We'll see the play coming up here on the great feed by Donnelly. Good lob pass. Look at Kelser up there. Great catch, good timing.
Michigan State asked for a timeout. We'll be back here at Dayton, Ohio. The score, Kentucky 39, Michigan State 39.
Oh, I'd like to get to know ya, have a chance to show ya round for just a while. Take you to places, meet some brand new faces, share a Coke and make you smile. Coca-Cola, Coke gets light, but when you see in the town, it's really nice to get to know ya, have a Coke and show ya round for just a while. Coca-Cola gets light, and everybody wants it.
Is Gillette foamy thick and rich enough to stop this super sports car? No. Is foamy thick and rich enough to support this lovely lady? No. Is foamy thick and rich enough to hold up this husky hiker? No.
But if you want a clean, close shave, it's more than thick and rich enough.
Greensboro Open will be Saturday and Sunday, April 1st and 2nd, 3:30 on Saturday Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Time on Sunday. That's from the Forest Oaks Country Club. The first 240,000 in the Colgate Dinosaur Winner's Circle. 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time Saturday, 4 o'clock Sunday. Remember, Sports World tomorrow. Armed Services Boxing, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. John Brody, Ken Norton, today named by the World Boxing people as the heavyweight champ. World Boxing Council. Look at the shooting in this second half, Billy. There's Irvin Johnson back in the game. Kentucky has hit 78% in this half. Michigan State, 60%.
Well, the key is every possession is so important. Now, I think that's an excellent move to put Irvin Johnson back into the ball game. It's too tight right now. He's going to have to watch himself. They're in his zone. Big miss there by Gibbons.
And Lee fouled him across the arm. James Lee, third foul on Lee.
It's only the fourth team foul, though. And with Irvin Johnson back in the game, I believe that what Judge Heathcote was expecting was Kentucky to come out and press Donnelly, so he comes back with Johnson in the game.
Kentucky will be in the bonus. Every Michigan State foul from now on. Kelser's shot. There's a foul underneath.
Boy,
Kelser got in there, and once he gets position on you, it's all over.
That's Lee's fourth, and he's upset with it, but Kelser really did a good job moving into play. He thinks he's going to the line, but...
Going to take Lee out. He has 4 now. Mike Phillips will replace him.
We'll see if they're going to say that he was fouled as he was shooting. It looks that way. He's going to be taking the shot. Great pass by Johnson on the inside.
LaVarn Williams, a 6'6" sophomore from Denver, is also coming on. He's an excellent rebounder. They want him up on those boards.
There's
Kelser missed his first free throw. He has hit 59% of his free throws this year. He has a better field goal percent than he does free throws. He missed them both. He was way short with both of them.
Kurt, I can't figure it out. His game is totally a complete basketball game except when he goes to the line.
This game is tied, 39 all, 8 minutes to go. Following this game, Cal State of Fullerton against Arkansas. Tomorrow another doubleheader starting at 2 o'clock. Duke, Villanova. And then DePaul, Notre Dame. Macy just off the rim.
Not a good shot.
On the rebound, Irvin Johnson, the freshman, grabbed it. Johnson brings it down.
This has been a defensive struggle right here, and you can tell none of the fans are really cheering that much. They're all so nervous.
Rolls around. Kelser missed the tip. And the foul is called underneath.
Going to be on
number
Kelser.
52.
Let's see.
LaVarn Williams.
Good call, Kurt. Good call. I thought good play on the inside by Vincent. And look at Phillips get up in the air there. There's Kelser forever on that board. Just doing a great job. Phillips, I thought, was going to get this rebound. Had it in his hands, but the action was away.
Now Kentucky has 16 fouls. Michigan State already has 7. 7:20 to go. A tie game. Very deliberately played second half. Johnson gets it out to Terry Donnelly.
Johnson has to be careful, too, on penetration.
There's Johnson's shot, a flat one. Doesn't have a good touch outside. That foul is called underneath on Michigan State on Greg Kelser.
Michigan State foul number...
That's 3 on Kelser. And Kentucky will come down and shoot the 1-and-1.
But Kurt, as I mentioned, it's really getting to be a tight ball game. I mean, it's been that way score-wise for a long, but you can feel everybody starting to feel the pressure. Each shot means so much. Each pass means so much. One of these teams just going to have to loosen up a little bit.
Macy missed a free throw. Gibbons missed one. Kelser missed 2. Phillips now will get the bonus. And Kentucky has the lead, 40-39. Shade over 7 minutes remaining. 41-39 Kentucky.
It's been a long time since they were in the lead.
Brings it down. Kentucky still in a 1-3-1 zone.
But now the zone will change. With the lead, they pack it back in. They're going to force Michigan State to take the outside shot. So it's a different zone, even though the same configuration.
Johnson hits it.
He hit it.
Irvin Johnson hits from the corner to tie it. That's 6 points for Johnson. 41 all. 6:45 to go.
Exactly what Michigan State had to do, Johnson did. Hit the outside shot because the zone was really packed in there deeply. Slater doesn't want the shot. He's got to take it.
Kentucky's very strong endurance. There's a Kentucky ball in. Kelser thought it was his. Kentucky has a very sophisticated weightlifting program and a running program for endurance. The players have all put on weight except Roby, who's lost 28 pounds since he's a freshman. Macy up. He hits the shot. Counts, and he's fouled.
Donnelly fouled on the top, and there was a case where the man on the high post set a real good screen for Macy. Now, see, there's the screen by Williams. Macy goes up. Now, this is really good concentration. He got fouled, held his concentration, made the shot. This guy's made a big difference in this ball club.
4 fouls on Terry Donnelly. Kyle Macy, the youngster, Sparky, Kentucky right now, sophomore. Stayed out last year, played freshman ball at Purdue. 44-41, Kentucky has nudged into a 3-point lead.
That zone's really tight now, way back in deep.
Chapman trying to get that outside shot. LeVon Williams came out there and stuck a hand in his face. Now Donnelly sets it up again.
Judd Heathcote needs a timeout, Kurt. His club's a little bit disorganized right now.
He wants Johnson out on the point.
Right.
The Michigan State coach tells Johnson to get out in front.
Look at him. He's just calmed down.
And the Kentucky fans roaring in the background. Defense, defense.
Let's be honest, they weren't roaring too much a minute or two ago. They're a little nervous. Big
Johnson shot up on the rebound. Jack Givens for Kentucky. Wildcats ball. Ron Charles is going to check in the Michigan State lineup. 44-41 Kentucky. Macy up again. Short. LeVon Williams up. Phillips up. Can't get it. Pulling the rebound down. Irvin Johnson down court to Donnelly. 44-41 Kentucky. Kentucky just had 3 shots at it.
See how far
Chapman
that zone
goes.
is.
He hits it. Chapman is fouled.
Charging on Chapman right there, but the basket's going to count.
Counts, and Chapman has 8 points. Let's watch the charge down the lane.
Well, he did all he could do. A beautiful shot. Good concentration on his part right there. An excellent play by Mike Phillips. He held his ground well, drew the charge.
4 fouls on Chapman. Donnelly has 4 fouls. Irvin Johnson has 4 fouls.
And, of course, Michigan State does not have the kind of bench to put people in at those particular positions. Phillips probably got a little shot. Well, he's a pretty key shooter, though, Kurt. He's a big guy, goes to the foul line very well, so I'm sure that they'd like to find that contact lens.
The high for Kentucky is Givens with 14. Macy has 12. And Macy has been the spark plug here in the second half. Hitting shots from outside, penetrating and drawing fouls.
It's amazing to see how that defense can change by the basis of the score. When they were behind and in a position where they couldn't do much, they had to come out and play the 1-3-1. There were a lot of openings. As soon as they got the lead, the 1-3-1 became very compact and tight.
We have 4 minutes, 56 seconds remaining in this game. Winner of this game will meet the winner of the Western Regionals in St. Louis next Saturday. We'll have a big semifinal doubleheader on NBC next Saturday in St. Louis, Missouri. The championship game will be on Monday night, March 27th. 45-43 Kentucky.
It's a very unusual.
A doubleheader tomorrow on NBC. Duke, Villanova, followed by Notre Dame, DePaul.
Okay, that's a very unusual foul shot for a big man to have his hands extended like that, but Mike Phillips really has a nice touch on it.
Michigan State trailing by 3. They're the underdog today. A young team starting 2 freshmen, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior. Chapman is the only senior on the team. There's Chapman wide open. Out of bounds. It's Kentucky's ball out.
Real good timing that time by Jack Givens on the inside. Excellent timing on the lead.
4 fouls on Johnson, Chapman, and Donnelly for Michigan State. 4 on James Lee for Kentucky. He's on the bench right now. Jack Givens goes to the baseline, up, and no good. And
well, the official missed that
up
call.
On the rim.
He missed it. It was the Michigan State man that was up on the rim. Joe Hall's going crazy over there, but nothing. You've got to just go ahead and play. There's Givens' short jumper. Now watch this right here. It's the Michigan State man that hits the ball on the rim. That was Kelser on the inside. 46-43.
Kentucky leading. Michigan State has led most of the game. Johnson feeding Donnelly. Inside, Greg Kelser trying to jam it out, loses it over to Levon Williams.
Kurt, they're going to have to take the outside shot. The shot is not going to be available inside with the zone really collapsing like that. Boy, Macy taking over in the backcourt.
He really is, isn't he? Young player, basketball's been his entire life. Father's coached him since a youngster. Plays with a lot of poise.
For Michigan State, you've got to slide over and make Plater take a couple of jump shots.
Kentucky ahead by 3. We're down to 3:30 to go in this game. Kentucky's won 4 national championships and has been a runner-up twice. Runner-up under Joe Hall, 75. John Wooden, last game, the head coach, when he beat him for the national championship.
So Michigan State also has to think at this point, how long can they go back in the zone? They might have to come out man-to-man and press a little bit. Good double team.
And there's a steal coming down. Johnson feeds it to Chapman. Chapman's up and in.
Good play.
46-45. Chapman is deceiving. He's much quicker than you think, and he can take off. He can jump.
Great double team that time. Plater got on the inside. Now with a 1-point lead, Kentucky's going to hang on a little bit. Michigan State can still stay back in the zone.
Joe Hall up off the bench. A foul on Chapman, and that will be 5 on Chapman. He's out. Bob Chapman is fouled out.
Important foul. He's their best outside shooter from the perimeter.
Winner of the Atlantic Coast Conference Tournament. Young team, coached by Bill Foster, and a good one.
It is a good basketball team. You mentioned young, Kurt, and what's so amazing right here, we started our show talking about the young Michigan State team and the old veteran Kentucky team. I'll be honest with you, considering the score 46-45, I think the pressure is still on Kentucky, even though they have the lead. Because this Michigan State team is young. They know they've got another shot down the road somewhere for Kentucky. They've got to really put it together.
And tomorrow's second game, DePaul with a dramatic victory over
Ray
Louisville.
Meyer.
Double overtime. Ray Meyer, 64-year goal against Notre Dame. Notre Dame trying to become the only school to ever win the national championship in football and basketball in the same year. Nobody's ever done it before. They have a shot at it.
Right. Dave Corzine put on a real exhibition last night of pivot play. I'm sure Mikan would have been proud of some of those moves he had inside.
46 points for Corzine. Broke Mikan's career record and 1-game record. Michigan State now a deficit of 3.
Still trying to attack the
remaining. 2:25. A shot short by Charles. Kelser retrieves it. Johnson drives. He's up. Johnson can't get it. And there's Phillips. He had everybody blocked out and has the rebound for Kentucky.
Well, Kelser got too far under the basket that time, but you can't fault him. Now we're going to see a change in defense. Man-to-man by Michigan State. Let's see if Joe Hall hangs on to it. No, he's going to the weave.
And they can play man-to-man.
Oh, yeah, they're quick.
He's coached a good man-to-man coach. Phillips spins off. Johnson comes down with the rebound. Remember, he's playing with 4 fouls. He penetrates, gives it to Kelser.
Oh, yeah.
Kelser stuffs it, 48-47. Kelser has 19 points.
That was a bad shot that Mike Phillips took. He could get a better one than that. Michigan State really battling now.
What shooting here in this second half?
And they're back to the zone with a 1-point deficit.
Let's see if Kentucky sits on it now. 1:33 to go.
Now they change back to man-to-man. Kentucky really needs a timeout. They're a little disorganized.
Watch the clock at the top. That's the time remaining in this game. And it's a 1-point lead for Kentucky. Look at Heathcote. He's yelling something out there.
Well, he's wanting them to be man-to-man, but he wants the proper matchups out there. Somebody, I'm sure Judd would like to have a timeout. Joe Hall knows that he doesn't want to give him one.
We're down to nearly a minute to go. 1 minute to go in this game now. Kentucky hanging on to a 1-point lead. 48-47. Macy. They're down to 50 seconds to play.
They don't want to foul now.
One of these teams will go on into the Final Four in St. Louis. Right now it's Kentucky ahead by 1. They'll meet the winner of the Western Tour. There's a foul called on Terry Donnelly, and he is fouled out of the game. And now Judd Heathcote wants a timeout.
Well, that's a good call for he wanted a timeout earlier, couldn't get it. 39 seconds, Kurt. This has been a real heart stopper.
39 seconds to go. Michigan State will try and regroup. It'll be a 1-1 coming up for Kentucky when we come back with the score. Kentucky 48, Michigan State 47.
The closer you shave, boys, the more you will need. The more you will need. Great balls of comfort. Great balls of comfort. To do it with ease. Great balls of comfort. Oh, just let Noxzema. Great balls of comfort to you. The closer you shave, the more you need soothing, medicated Noxzema. Great balls of comfort to you. Woo!
Lincoln Mercury introduces 2 magnificent 7s, Cougar XR7, Zephyr Z7.
Baby, put a charge in your life.
Cougar XR7, bold, elegantly styled, deeply padded, luxuriously equipped.
Baby, put a charge in your life.
Zephyr Z7, high voltage styling with a price that comes as a pleasant shock. 2 magnificent 7s.
Baby, put a charge in your life.
Coming up next, Arkansas lost only 3 games all year. Cal State Fullerton. They've upset 2 teams in a row to move into the finals of the West. And talking about a sports year, how about Kentucky? In football, 10 wins, 1 loss. And here they are, the #1 ranked team in basketball. Only 2 losses. And how about Arkansas? Arkansas lost only 1 college football game this year. And a big upset over Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. And right back with another superlative basketball season under Eddie Sutton. Scoring leaders in this game. Givens 14 for Kentucky. Macy 14, Phillips 10. Kelser has 19. He's the high of the game for Michigan State. All right, the setup, 39 seconds to go. Kentucky ahead by 1. At the line is Kyle Macy. Berkovich has come in, Mike Berkovich for Michigan State. And this man, Macy, is a deadly free throw shooter. He's missed 1. He's had 2 out of 3 in the game, but he hit 91% in the season.
But Kurt, he's been standing on that line for a long time now. He's going to get himself organized. Well, that was a good shot.
He hit 49-47, and this one will be so important to the Wildcats.
Roby is telling the referee to shut up Irvin Johnson. He said, look, he's talking to my man out there.
Berkovich was put in for Michigan State. He's the best pure outside shooter they have. Macy hits them both.
Nice
50-47. Kentucky 3-point lead. Michigan State has to hurry now. Berkovich has got to get a shot off. Johnson to Vincent. There it is. They're trying to get it to Berkovich. Johnson didn't have control. Charles has to shoot it. It's up. It's in.
Good touch.
50-49. Michigan State still has time. 18 seconds to go. They're down to 50 now. 1-point lead. A pressing defense. There's Plater with it. They're down to 10. 1-point lead. Foul called on Berkovich.
But it's a gutty ball game right here. Berkovich did all he could. He stayed with it, played good sound defense. Macy hung on to the ball very well.
And once again, Kyle Macy goes to the line, the sophomore. That's Mrs. Joe Hall in the background seated. She doesn't get very excited.
Well, you know, Kurt, and you know this much better than maybe any of us as long as you've been working with college basketball, and the pressure on the Kentucky coach, and that has to certainly filter down to the woman that means so much is the lady that's got to be his wife.
Well, I couldn't, every time you go to an NCAA, you usually see Kentucky there, or the games that you and Dick have done during the season. They come from everywhere. Basketball has been a religion in Kentucky. Figure who they had. They had Western Kentucky here in the Mid-East Regionals. They had Louisville playing last night, losing in a double overtime, and Kentucky. Basketball has been a way of life in the state of Kentucky. And Adolph Rupp, the man in the brown suit, the winningest coach in college basketball history, set that tradition at Kentucky with 4 national titles and some of the greatest teams in the history of the game. And those fans expect a winner. In fact, they expect to win every game.
That's tough for a coach. And there you see a man right there who we had out at Montana, that great game against UCLA that he played out there when he was coaching the Montana club. He said yesterday, in contrast, Michigan State was kind of apathetic about basketball until Johnson and Vincent joined the club, and he's a guy that's going to bring them some great thrills up at Michigan State.
They're sold out for every home game next year. They started to sell out this year when it was announced that Irvin Johnson had signed a letter of intent to go to Michigan State. This fellow's quite a coach, Judd Heathcote. He did a marvelous job at Montana. He had a player out there named Eric Hayes who single-handedly almost beat UCLA and John Woods last year. Boy, Macy is hitting these pressure free throws. Kyle Macy has 17 points.
Never hit the rim. Oh, why?
A long shot. Kelser up, missed it. And the whistle blows. Kentucky has won the game. Kentucky goes to the Final Four. We're trying to figure out. We're going to give it to Kyle Macy. Kyle Macy with his pressure free throws. Macy wound up the game with 18 points. He was the spark plug. Kelser had 19, but Macy brought him through at the line, hitting a shot. He wins the Gillette Most Valuable Player of the Game Scholarship Award. $1,000 check will be sent to Kentucky in Kyle Macy's name. Greg Kelser was outstanding.
Joe Hall knows who the man was.
He knows who was there. That's right. Greg Kelser was outstanding for Michigan State. I want to say something about this Michigan State team. 2 freshmen on the starting team. A couple of sophomores played in the game, a junior and a senior. And they came out ready. They really were ready for this one. And I can't see anything but greatness in the future for Michigan State basketball.
I agree with you,
Kentucky,
Kurt.
we know is going to be good. They're going to lose 4 seniors, but they always have them coming.
Well, they played that great zone defense in the first half. Be honest with you, they had Kentucky on the ropes, the more experienced club. But Michigan State really played an outstanding ball game today.
The final high scores, Kyle Macy, the sophomore, led Kentucky with 18. And he did it. He led them. He penetrated. He started to hit outside to soften the Michigan State zone. He was passing off. Then when he was fouled, he drilled those free throws. And the last 5 in a row he hit, did it. Givens had 14. Phillips had 10 from Michigan State. Kelser had 19. Chapman had 10. There goes Macy off the court. Stay tuned. Right after this game, we're going to switch to Albuquerque, where you'll watch the Cinderella team, Cal State of Fullerton, against Arkansas, rated in the top 5 all year. And they're cutting the nets down, and thousands of Kentucky fans will head back happy.
Well, they are going to head back happy. This was a very difficult win, the kind of pressure-packed win. Both of these teams in the first round of the Mideast kind of blew their opponents off the court. So today you had the kind of game where nobody could get a big enough lead to feel comfortable. And I think the real key was Kentucky finally getting that lead, Kurt, being able to go back into the tight 1-3-1 zone.
Kentucky's wound up. Right now they have 28 wins, 2 losses. Michigan State's through, but a 25-win and 5-loss season. Right now, let's go to Brian Gumble.
Okay, Kurt, thank you very much. We've got winning coach Joe Hall here. Joe, a 3-point victory. Did you expect it to be this close?
Yes, we really did. We didn't expect to get down as far as we did at halftime, but maintained our poise and came back in great shape second half, and I was real proud of our players to do that. I also give credit to Michigan State. Super ball game, super bunch of guys, and well coached. Their zone was as tough as we've ever faced. We could not get the ball inside, and fortunately, we were not shooting well outside, and that put a lot of pressure on us, and our kids held up. Macy's free throw shooting in the end was really what we needed, and it looked like they fouled the wrong man.
Joe, for sure in the first half you were struggling. It was a 27-22 half. This team's a little too old to have jitters, isn't it?
Well, I didn't feel that we were tense or frightened or anything like that. It was just that our shots were not falling, and when you don't hit outside against a good zone like Michigan State threw at us, then it does create some tension.
Were you surprised in the second half to see Michigan State come out and hold the ball as they were?
Well, we were glad for it because we felt that it disrupted their tempo, and it didn't look like that they had confidence attacking the 1-3-1 zone, and that made us feel a lot more confident, and we were able to edge back up on them.
Do you think your experience told in the end?
I think so. I think it was a matter of experience. Michigan State is a young team. They're going to be a real fine basketball team, and again, they deserve a lot of credit.
Joe, again, congratulations. Let me ask Kyle Macy to step in right here. Kyle, can you step on over? Congratulations. Kyle Macy, player of the game, had 18 points. Kyle, what was the problem getting the offense going in the first half? Why couldn't you generate any?
Well, we forgot to penetrate against their zone. They did an excellent job matching up, and when we reversed the ball, they had enough quickness and good jumping ability where they could come out on us. So the guards just had to penetrate a little bit more and look for their shots in the second half.
At the end of the ball game, because you were in control of the basketball so much, you were the man they were fouling. What kind of thoughts were going through Kyle Macy's head?
Well, when I got fouled, you know, I approached the line trying to concentrate on every shot, you know, going through the form that I've been taught as I was growing up, and just concentrate on putting the ball in the hole.
There was a lot of pressure on you, and let me ask you something. So many people talk about Kentucky pressure. As a guy who came over to the Kentucky program from another school, is there more pressure playing for the Wildcats?
Well, I think we take it serious throughout the week. You know, a lot of teams might not go that hard in practice, but we try to go hard each day we take out on the floor, and I think it has a positive effect when we get in the game situation with a lot of pressure on it.
You've got 4 seniors that are an integral part of this program. Did you feel at any time when you were out there, hey, this is their last chance, we've got to get it going?
Well, I think we feel that way throughout the whole tournament. Our first game with Florida State was tough. We had that feeling. We had to put out. They had an excellent team. Miami, we came in and played exceptionally well. We were really ready to go for that game. And then tonight, Michigan State has an outstanding team, too, and we just knew when we took the floor that it was going to be a hard-fought game.
Kyle, as a player, is it difficult to exercise patience? Like I'm talking about in the second half when Michigan State came out and they seemed content to sit out front and hold the ball, and you were chasing for a while out there. I noticed after a bit, Joe told you to stay put on one side and he'd bring up a forward. But is it difficult to be patient and not try to force something?
Well, I think if we are patient and they do make a turnover, I think it helps give us the momentum. You know, it kind of breaks their momentum they have going down the stretch. But I think our seniors provide us a lot with that patience, a lot of leadership. You know, they kind of settle us down on things because they've been that route before.
Think about it for a second before you give me the automatic no to this question. But were you guys looking ahead a little bit to getting to the Final Four rather than looking at this game?
Well, we were looking, you know, to go in St. Louis. That's what every team's trying to get in that Final Four and then just take it from there. But I think we knew that Michigan State has an outstanding team, and we knew going in the game it was going to be a hard-fought game.
Okay, Kyle, next Saturday you get to face the winner of the Arkansas-Cal State Fullerton game. That game is just about getting set for a tip-off, and so we are going to send it to Dick Enberg and Al McGuire. They're standing by in Albuquerque. Gentlemen?
All right, Brandon, congratulations to Joe Hall's Wildcats of the University of Kentucky, champions of the Mideast Regional. Now here are the starting lineup.